originally released on the PlayStation 2 in 2003, Castlevania Lament of Innocence came to be, and I've heard like nothing about this game whatsoever. Like, it's apparently the third entry to use a 3D gameplay style. It's both produced and made by Koji Igarashi, but like nothing generally gets not talked about. I mean, like nothing at all. I only see like one video talking about a timeline that mentions Lament of Innocence. Had a person recommend me that play Lament of Innocence. I've been Castlevania crazy recently, but I'm just surprised a lot of people talk about this game, period. Maybe I'm just in the wrong places, but as far as I'm aware, this game just generally gets ignored entirely. So the main premise is that Leon Belmont gets informed by his best friend Matthias that his fiancée Sarah had been taken. So Leon charges headfirst with a castle that's owned by the vampire Walter, but before going in there, he gets stopped by a man named Rinaldo, who's an alchemist that hands him a special whip in order to help him fight the creatures of the night. From there, it's basically Leon exploring Walter's castle, who apparently attracts warriors to his castle because he basically finds it entertaining. This is basically just a game to see, hey, can someone actually make it towards me? It could even fight, we go challenge? Who knows? That's what Leon Belmont's mission is. One thing I do like right off the bat is that the main area you go in order to go to report to the castle basically acts like a level select, even having areas named, and even putting a clear thing on top of them if you've already completed it. So I do love how the game keeps track and also keeps things simple rather than, let's say, more like a Metrovania, you can go anywhere all over the place, which can have you get lost at points, sometimes good kind of lost. But here it's more streamlined. There is a lot of backtracking. You want to get optional goodies for to improve your character, but it is more simple to pretty much keep things on track so you know where you're going and what you're doing. As for combat, you have your trusty whip, you have your sub-weapons, and I do like how the whip actually has like attack combos that you learn. I'm not sure how you exactly learn them, because I swear sometimes I just do random things that I learn a new attack. I swear I learn a new attack just by randomly spamming a dodge when I practice it, but you do get combos which are pretty cool, although I'm not sure about why the game needs a combo meter and freaking damage calculation on the side. Feels a bit much. And you also have sub-weapons, which as you progress, you get orbs that actually augment the ability of the sub-weapons, which is freaking cool and adds way more versatility towards these sub-weapons. Although I wish you could just have the sub-weapons with you and swap them out instead of need to find specially marked candles that have the specific sub-weapon in it. I just wish it was easier to do that, so you do have an inventory screen and everything. Speaking of the inventory screen, you actually navigate it in real time using the right stick, which kind of felt weird at first, because that means the camera is basically automatically handled by the game, which does kind of do well for the most part, although some awkward bits, but the whole menu is handled in real time. Although it's weird how there's a full-on pause screen, but I can't use items there. It just tells me to use the active window, so why even have that there? But hey, it does mean you're able to more snappily use items on the spot where I need to pause and bring up the action. So it is pretty cool. I just wish you could also change your gear with that rather than needing to use the active window instead, you know? There are also some pretty cool variety in the gameplay section in the castle. Like sometimes while trying to avoid a laser, you get to face towards them or turn it off. Sometimes it's falling ceiling, although the worst kinds are the platforming ones. Oh my god, they're awful. Like, I like the fact you have a double jump. I like the fact you can actually use Leon's whip to also try and get through extra distance if you're like right close to it. So I do love how you can use the whip also for platforming, but the platform controls themselves are awful because when you jump, you are dedicated to that jump. It feels like it's Castlevania, alright, but with trying to do this for platforming in these 3D sections is not good, especially since you can't just jump and move. You have to be moving then jumping, and you can't change where direction you're going, which makes it just feel incredibly stiff. And I just wish the platforming was done better. Like, it just feels really bad. Like, I know Castlevania is kind of known for stiff platforming like this, but not like this in a 3D platformer. Not like this. I do also like how, despite having big boss rooms for the bosses of each section of the castle, there are some bosses you have to actually do something first before you're actually able to confront the boss itself. So there's some little puzzle work, not heavy puzzle work, it's pretty light on puzzle work, but hey, it's a pretty cool thing to add, as some bosses aren't just waiting for you there, so they gotta do something before you even get to the room, or do something in the room, or make the boss even show up to begin with. Another thing at your disposal is magic. You get special relics in order to use magic. I only ever found one relic the entire game, so I'm not the best barometer of Final Magic works, but I do like how in order to fill your meter, you have to block certain attacks in order to fill your gauge, and that's also pretty cool because the block is just super useful in this game. Like, I was surprised that it barely negates all damage and attack can be blocked, although there are some attacks that can basically break your guard, but also some attacks that can go through it. I wish there was a way to tell which one would be which, but you do have the fact that enemy goes purple, you can block that to get magic and be able to use your magic meter. I just wish I found more stuff to use for the magic because I only ever had the one thing the game gave me. Apparently it was like 80% of the castle, couldn't find nothing else. I don't know, man. I don't know. So while this game's runtime is pretty short, it took me like 5 hours to actually beat this game, you can unlock extra characters to play as, which just reminds me how they don't make games like this anymore. Getting an extra character to play as right off the rip for being in the game, oh, I don't make games like this anymore. But it is cool they do try to add more content for replayability, on top of the fact that you can just explore the entire castle in order to find more things to upgrade yourself. So that is just a cool addition. Although one thing I wish is, I do like the game's finale, but I can't understand why some people feel like the game kind of squanders a potential, but it also can't really fulfill it due to the fact of the Castlevania timeline. So I understand why it doesn't take the advantage that it has, but it's kind of one of those things that, gameplay wise, you just kind of wish they would do, but they can't because the constraints of the narrative of the franchise, Also, for the combat, I just really like how Leon controls in this game. Like, aside from the very stiff and bad platforming, just the fact that you have the combos, you have the dodge ability, you have the block ability, just feels so smooth to control for this combat. You got a light attack and a heavy attack for an ender, you got the combo system like I mentioned, the sub weapons you can use. It's just so much stuff. You get a freaking dive kick in this game. How is no one talking about this game? I'm over here playing a Castlevania game where I can do a goddamn dive kick on enemies, and somehow this game just doesn't get talked about. It just baffles me. It just baffles me. Overall, I just really like Castlevania Lament of Innocence. Like, it just, at least for me, was basically a hidden gem because no one ever talked about this game. We only ever talk about the 2D Metroidvania entries to Castlevania, but this one's just so super fun 3D, basically hack and slash action adventure game. Like, it's just super cool. I do wish the platform was better. And while there isn't, let's say, a whole lot of narrative, what is there is super cool and it just really makes Leon Belmont likable. Like, with the short amount of runtime of this game, they make Leon Belmont just such a great Castlevania protagonist. Oh my god. It also helps that he's voiced by Dave Wittenberg. Really does a great performance in this game. I love the voice acting in this game. It feels like an out from the early 2000s in all the good ways.
It was careless. It was obvious that it wouldn't be so easy.
I was going to let you die without any suffering because I liked the way you looked.
Well, that's just too bad. This feeling. Are you a vampire?
That's right, lowly human.
Why is a vampire locked away here?
Shut up!
You're lying! That can't be!
Why would I lie to you? You must accept the truth.
Please, tell me you're lying.
All the good ways for that English voice acting. So I just really like this game. And just surprised it's not mentioned much outside of maybe people saying, oh, it's the basically canonical origin point of the entire franchise. But there's just so much good to this game and just doesn't get talked about much. I see some people saying, oh, this game has excessive backtracking. I don't feel so because it's not just progressing forward in the game. You don't need to backtrack much, or if at all, really. Because things are just pretty straightforward throughout the layout of the castle. Like, even, I'm surprised how just small it is. Even the final section is just not that big, but it makes things simpler to go through, so and the boss fights this game are very dope. Enemies are fun to fight. Sub weapons are cool to use. You can augment the sub weapons with the orbs. Just so much cool stuff that, I don't know if any other Castlevania 3D Castlevania game ever builds upon this. I know there's another PS2 game, but if that game builds upon this, that must also be a goddamn winner. I'm just saying, they got real good stuff going on with this one.